Hey everyone, Master Rating once again with another video about the world's most isolated nation, North Korea. You may have heard about how brutal and inhumane the laws are in the Hermit Kingdom, but I found more information about North Korea's arbitrary laws and even more said laws. With that said, here are 16 laws in North Korea that made me glad to have been born in the United States. Number 1. The 3 generations rule. To start this off, the 3 generations rule was established in 1972 by Kim Il-sung in order to quote-unquote exterminate all of immorality, that according to Kim Il-sung. This law is by far the worst law ever to exist in this world. I mean, by the looks of it, it's an absolute nightmare. When a crime is committed against the state, your whole family of 3 generations gets warranted a lifetime imprisonment, which means your parents, your grandparents, your children, your siblings, your grandchildren, and even unborn kids end up with your sentence. Number 2, freedom of religion. In the United States, we are predominantly Christian. According to the First Amendment onto the U.S. Constitution, we are guaranteed the freedom of religion, which means we can have faith of our choice. This ain't the case in North Korea. Practicing religion in the so-called DPRK is strictly prohibited, strictly enough that even carrying a Bible is a big no-no. People are manipulated to view the personality cults as their gods, which of who are Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and Kim Jong-un. Additionally, celebrating Christmas is also banned as Christmas marks the birth of Jesus Christ. And Kim Jong-un obligates a day of worship to his paternal grandmother, Kim Jong-suk, as her date of birth was close enough to Christmas Day in the Western world. Number 3, restricted views. In the United States, we have a right to our own political views. People who oppose Trump are mainly liberals, for example, as well as, well, on the flip side, conservatives opposing the previous president, Joe Biden. You're probably wondering where I'm personally at. Well, I'm somewhere pinpointed in the middle, likely a moderate, stressed sideliner. There's your answer. In North Korea, you can't oppose the views of the Kim dynasty. It's even illegal to criticize the government in North Korea. Doing that is considered blasphemous and will result in a life sentence of imprisonment or worse. Like I said, Kim Jong-un, his father, and his grandfather are personality cults who created a brutal regime, manipulating people into agreeing with their political ideologies. In the United States, anyone 18 or older who are registered and felony-free according to their criminal records have a right to vote, and have various options on who to vote for. In North Korea, voting is mandatory for everyone 17 and up, and this occurs like every 5 years, and only one candidate is shown on the ballot overall, and that would be the supreme leader, thus manipulating people to believe that he's a god. Number 4, Kim first. It's just so sad beyond words how the Kim dynasty is deemed more important than personal safety. I've come to think of it. Every house, every place has portraits of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, and they must be dusted off. It's so farcical beyond words how safety comes second to the importance of the ruling Kim family. On December 30th, 2019, a mother of 2 kids got sent to jail for failing to save the Kim portrait in a house fire while saving her children, which means that if your house catches fire in North Korea, then it's obligatory that you save the Kim portraits, regardless how risky it is, before you save anyone else, anything else, or even yourself before evacuating. That was so absurd how the mother was punished for the so-called blasphemy, which wasn't even her fault, and needless to say, the children who were saved must also have been sent to jail too, thanks to the 3 generations rule. Number 5, death day traditions. In North Korea, when the leader dies, it's imperative for people to throw a mourning hysteria on the streets, crying and falling to their knees as admiration and worship. For example, when Kim Jong-il passed away in 2011, people were on the streets crying and falling to their knees, and those who failed to mourn were taken off to a prison camp. To further exacerbate this, it is illegal to smile on certain days of the year, July 8th and December 17th, as they correspond to the death of the previous leaders. Birthdays are no longer celebrated on those aforementioned days of the year, as they mark the anniversary of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il's deaths respectively. If your birthday falls on any of these days, well, you're out of luck. because you'll have to make up your birthday since you can't celebrate on the precise day, so you'll have to wait another day for that. Smiling on July 8th or December 17th in the so-called Democratic People's Republic of Korea is a massive insult to the leaders who passed away on those days and will get you taken off to a prison camp. Number 6. Regulations of the Internet. In the States and most other countries, you can access various websites across the internet like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google, Amazon, Wikipedia, Instagram, Snapchat, and other popular sites. But in North Korea, government permission is first required to have a computer, and there's only 28 different websites on the internet, which are only accessible to the elite, and none of the aforementioned social media or source media sites are accessible in North Korea. Perhaps North Korea's domain is .kp for every site accessible. There's a domestic network in North Korea called the Kwangmyong Intranet System, which only consists of state-controlled content and censors all foreign content from all users. Number 7. Travel. In North Korea, traveling outside of the country requires government permission, which is rarely ever granted. Traveling domestically is tightly controlled by the government in the so-called DPRK. Even if you're a foreign tourist, you still have no freedom to travel while in North Korea, as you are obligated to be accompanied by a tour guide at all times for the whole duration. Ever heard of North Korean defectors? They have broken the law by leaving the country without government permission and have got their families thrown into forced labor camps, and even those who successfully escape North Korea are still unsafe due to North Korea's conduction of international abduction squads, which of who kidnapped the defectors by forcefully repatriating them. Number 8. Driving laws. In the United States, the prerequisite to being a licensed driver is to start off with a permit test at your local BMV station and pass the permit test to first earn your driver's permit, which requires you to attend driving school with a driving instructor to practice driving for a certain duration before taking and passing your driver's test, as well as getting an insurance. In North Korea, it's not very easy to meet the requirements to be a licensed driver. Only around 1% of the population can access and drive vehicles, as cars in North Korea are so expensive that only the elites and government officials can own vehicles. Even traffic officers in North Korea are still not able to drive, and civilians are required a special permit to drive cars, and they cannot drive alone. Number 9. Insane conscription. The US doesn't really have a conscription in force, but there is a selective service system equipped with a compulsory registry, which you could get drafted to war at the time of need, usually between the ages of 18 and 25. Some countries have military duties, but none of them are as long as North Korea's, which is 7 years for women and 10 years for men. This makes the military population in North Korea so populous because of the prolonged conscriptions. Number 10. Television. In the United States, you can flip through numerous different channels on your television, ranging from news, sports, entertainment, and other categories that there is while relaxing on your sofa. In North Korea, you're only allowed to access 3 different channels of your choice, and it's all controlled by the government. So grab that popcorn, sit back, relax, and get ready for some pure propaganda. Number 11. Restrictions of electricity. It is required to have government permission to have electricity. Power cuts occur every night in North Korea due to the energy crisis going on, and owning a microwave is illegal in North Korea due to the belief that it consumes so much energy. How are we supposed to cook our meals? And also, my creator sleeps every night with the fan on to cool off from the high iron levels. Number 12. Criteria for capital residence. In the United States, if you ever plan on living in the capital, all you have to do is get in touch with a real estate agent to find available houses in Washington, D.C. before you make your purchase. The requirement to live in the capital in North Korea is absolutely different, as it's difficult to meet the criteria to get permission from the government to live in Pyongyang. When you fly to Pyongyang, you'll notice the people residing in Pyongyang are socially and economically elite, which much supports the fact that Kim Jong-un wants to prevent exposure of the impoverished, which around 3 in 5 residents in North Korea are living in poverty. Those are who Kim Jong-un doesn't want you to see, as he wants the country to be presented like it's utopia, when in fact, it's factually a dystopia for the most part. If you plan on starting from scratch, then you can't reside in the capital, so no Pyongyang for you. Number 13, schooling. In North Korea, parents have to pay for their children's desks and chairs, and the fees won't even cover them. Children who couldn't go to school were assigned laborious tasks by the government as an alternative. Additionally, children in school in North Korea study from Monday to Saturday, studying long hours, and typically only have August as the month of summer break. When it comes to studies, it's usually to influence kids to convince them that the Kim dynasty are gods under the strict ideologies of the country, such as the lies to support the Kim dynasty's ego, such as the fact that Kim Jong-il never used the toilet.
Kim Jong-il never took a shit? That's why he's so full of it.
Yeah, very true. He's absolutely full of it beyond words. Number 14, employment. In the United States, kids oftentimes dream about what they want to do for a living when they grow up. People have the right to work in a field of their interest, and you have a lot of careers on the list to choose from. This is not the case in North Korea. When it comes to getting a job in North Korea, the government assigns you to a job based on where you live. Whatever job you're assigned to by the government, you will be doing that career for a living, whether that's with or against your will. If that career is not your cup of tea, well, tough luck. Number 15, restricted choice of hairstyles. In the US and most of the world, people are entitled to any hairstyles of their choice, ranging from mohawks, afros, shaved heads, perms, dyed hair, and other hairstyles to express their personality. In North Korea, you only have a choice of 28 permissible hairstyles to choose from, which are 18 for women and 10 for men. The hairstyle law mandates that men are not allowed to have long hair, not any longer than 5 centimeters or 2 inches, and are oftentimes urged to get a haircut every 15 days to maintain the permissible hair length, and married women are anticipated to have shorter hair. You will see the options of hairstyles at the barbershop, and you can only choose what's permissible according to North Korean law. However, Kim Jong-un's hairstyle isn't anywhere on the list, as he wants to keep his hairstyle unique as possible and discourages anyone from copying his hairstyle. I would imagine my career has an obviously impermissible hairstyle, and if he were to ever be in North Korea, then game's over, as it's not even one of the 10 for men. And finally, number 16, the heavy censorship on all foreign media. North Korea has been known to be very isolated in terms of what media there is. At first, the non-elites lack any access to the internet, and even those who are elite cannot access any sites like Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. In fact, all foreign media is banned by law. Reading foreign books, watching foreign movies or TV shows, or listening to foreign radio or music due to the government's mentality that passes them off as subversive and dangerous. Having any foreign media in North Korea results in a penalty, depending on the media's national origin. You could get sent to prison if the media is from India, South Korea, Japan, or anywhere else. But if it's American media, then say goodbye to life, because American media in North Korea will result in execution. Additionally, about international phone calls, they are also banned by law, as North Korea only has one phone service with over 3 million subscribers. When you make a phone call in North Korea, they can only be made domestically, and you cannot connect with the outside world. Man, am I glad to not reside anywhere in North Korea, not even Pyongyang, due to the horribly inhumane laws enforced by the Kim dynasty. You may also remember Otto Warmbier, who was one of the last Americans in North Korea, whose death from the ordeal in North Korea was followed by the travel ban to North Korea for all Americans. If one thing was bad enough, stealing in North Korea led to some really disproportionate penalty. If you're in the United States, where I'm at, and you steal something, you just get sent to jail for the duration that depends on the cost of the stolen item. Are there any other North Korean laws that I missed out that I should address that sounds so overkill? Let me know in the comments, as I will personally be reading them. Also, I put a link in the description to a 2019 video on the Master Rainy channel discussing things that are illegal in North Korea. Be sure to check it out. Stay tuned for the 84th video of the Master Rainy channel to be released sooner or later. But until then, I will see you next time.